Hey guys, Bradyland here, and welcome back to Smoldering Reviews. Today's Smoldering Review is one of the ones I've been waiting to do for a while, and I've been excited to do. I kind of tried to make it the most anticipated one because I really love this animatronic, and I know that a lot of other people love this animatronic too. I definitely know it's a fan favorite for this year, and definitely my favorite for this year. It is a new animatronic for Spirit Halloween 2021, Mr. Dark. This animatronic is so unique and different than anything Spirit Halloween has ever done, and I think that is why it is so popular for this year. Not only did Spirit release an animatronic that goes up to 9 feet tall, it jumps from 4 foot to that height, which makes it even more extraordinary. Like, Spirit Halloween, I'm not going to say never, because they've had a few in the past that were over 8 feet, but they just stood, like that 10-foot Reaper, but it just stood. But what makes this so much more extraordinary is that it jumps from 4 feet to 9 feet, which makes it even more crazy. I love this animatronic a lot. And it's definitely my favorite of the year, and definitely one of my favorites that Spirit Halloween has ever had in any of their years. It is really awesome, and I really love it a lot, and I'm excited that I was able to get it this year. I was worried that I wasn't, because Spirit's been kind of rampant this year, and they never know what they're going to get and what store's going to get it. And then he was sold out online. But then he came back on stock online, and I was able to get him, and I'm so excited that I was, because he's awesome, and definitely one of my favorites of Spirit Halloween all time, and definitely my favorite of this year. So before we go over the detail or anything with the actual animatronic, let's go ahead and go over the box. So this box is actually pretty big. One of the biggest boxes. I actually think it might be around the same size as Crouchy's. But it might be a little bit bigger than Crouchy's. I think it's the same height as Crouchy's, but it might be a little bit thicker. And I'm glad that Spirit Halloween's implementing these handles on the side of their boxes, because it makes them easier to carry when they're more awkward. Because I found the struggle of carrying Spirit Halloween boxes isn't necessarily the size of them, but more that they're really awkward and big. Awkwardly shaped, like it's just awkward to hold it. So let's look at the box. The top of the box just simply says Mr. Dark. At the front of the box, it has that same background that we've had for a few years of the trees that are in a kind of grayish, bluish fog haze type tint. Then it's got Mr. Dark when he's fully extended in the air. His eyes are glowing red. There he is. And it says Spirit with the classic Spirit logo, and it says Mr. Dark. Startling springing action rises from 4.75 feet to 8.83 feet tall. LED eyes light up. He speaks spooky threats with scary sound effects. Sound and motion activated. Okay, and here is the side of the box. So got the handle, of course. It says Spirit, Mr. Dark, startling springing action, LED eyes light up, speaks spooky threats with scary sound effects. And then there's a little kind of box at the bottom with his picture in it again, and it says stands 4.7 feet tall, rises to 8.8 feet tall. 8.83 feet tall. And then here's the other side. The other side's a Spirit, Mr. Dark. And it's got two little, square boxes down here. The first one, he's, kind of halfway up. Not even halfway, probably a quarter of the way up. And it's got a little arrow showing you that he's moving. And it says, startling, springing action. And then down here it says, LED eyes light up and speak spooky threats with scary sound effects. And it shows his head and, he's speaking. Okay, and then the back of the box. He was $249.99, which actually I think is pretty good for him. He doesn't have much detail on him as far as his outfit or his, body or anything. But I figured he'd be $300 since he jumped so high and was so extraordinary. But I was actually pleasantly surprised to find out he was only $249.99, which I think is a pretty good price for him. So here is the back of it. It says Mr. Dark, and then there is a poem. It says, Mr. Dark is waiting. He is always waiting. He's tucked away in the shadowy corners of a room, patiently crouched in the midnight of a long alley, or shrouded in parts of your mind you are afraid of when you fall asleep. Mr. Dark is there, biding his time, and growing bigger every minute, feeding on your fear, anxiety, wicked thoughts, and growing stronger each minute. Then, before you know it, his evil darkness has enveloped you and your soul. Don't blink, because it's already happening to you. Then it's got all the little things like volume controlled and the adapter included, speaker jack, battery adapter compatible, step pad, try me, requires 4 AA batteries, multi-prop remote activator compatible, and for indoor or covered porch only. So that's the back, and then there's just the warnings and stuff down there. Good look at the front, the top again. The side. The other side. And there's the front. So let's go ahead and take a look at Mr. Dark himself. First of all, his clothes, they're not too extraordinary. They're just this plasticky fabric that a lot of animatronics have. And it's actually like it's a little bit on the cheaper side, but I understand. I mean, I understand because they spent more time on the mechanism being durable and him not falling over, because he jumped so high. But it could have been a little bit better, but I guess there always can be something that's better. So it's just this basic, cheap plastic type of black fabric. And then there's this black see-through kind of cut-up, creepy cloth that hangs over his shoulders and a little bit over his arms. And it sometimes flips on his hands. Speaking of his hands, they're grayish, and they got those dark lines in it, and like they're wrinkles, and you can actually see some like bones sticking through, and you can see his long fingernails. Overall, his hands are very creepy. All those lines add detail to them, make them look more like a phantom type thing. There's that hand. Creepy hands. They look like they're about to reach out and grab you. His head is really awesome. I'm really satisfied with how his head looks. It's kind of got that grayish color that his hands do, except for it's a little more dark. It's got a little more black splotches, and it has these little like dents in it, like it's just the detailing on his skull, which I think is really cool. That wasn't just smooth. It has these little kind of like divots in it all over. His face is very creepy. He's got these menacing, angry eyes. Of course, these lines going down and makes him look more angry, especially on his cheek where it's all black, and it just makes him look more evil and angry. Then he's got these sharp, like razor-sharp teeth that look like they're about to eat you. Very creepy looking. I like the detail on his face a lot. It makes him even more creepy and even more startling when he jumps out at you. So I like that a lot. The only thing is, like I said, the clothes are a little bit cheap, but I mean, I understand, and they're fine. It's not like they're horrible. They're fine. Next thing I want to go over is these sandbags. I actually have them filled with rocks because I don't have any sand around me where I live. So I actually filled them with rocks, and they hook to the thing. It was kind of a pain. There's 3 of them. They go all the way around, but I mean, I definitely would rather do this than him fall over because that'd be absolutely horrible. So that's that. His mechanism is crazy big, which I assumed since he jumped so high. And overall, his setup was actually one of the easiest that I've ever done. It was pretty self-explanatory, and it wasn't really that difficult at all. So that's about all I have to say about him. Let's go ahead and get into a demo. I'm going to do all sorts of different angles of him. Then I might shut the light off or something like that. We'll see, but let's go ahead and get right into it. So before we actually go into a demo, there's one more thing I want to say. We did have him in the house first, where our ceilings are taller, and he didn't, hit anything. He was perfectly clear of everything. But I will warn you that out here, not when he jumps up instantly, but when he, shakes and, moves around from the force of him jumping up, the back of his head does bang against the ceiling a little bit. We might work to fix that or find a way to fix it, but for now, that's how it is, or we might not be able to fix it, and that should be okay. But I just wanted to warn you now in case, you've seen that. His head was hitting or hurt it, and you didn't have to leave a comment so I could explain it. So anyway, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the demo. I've got the step pad way out here so you can see it as it goes off, so here we go. See, this kind of gets caught in his hand every once in a while. Okay, I'm going to do one kind of from this angle now. Okay, next I'm going to do an angle kind of from the side, like right here. See, his head does hit a little bit. There's him compared to clowning around and stuff. Go ahead and go back here and get an even wider view for you. So I'm going to go ahead and go back here and get an even wider view. And I'm actually going to turn the lights off. It won't make that much of a difference because it's daytime, but I'll just go ahead and do that. So here's the widest view for you. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and do one more demo for you of it. I'm going to do it, you know, kind of from this angle again. So... Okay, so that's going to about wrap up this Smoldering review on Mr. Dark. I really hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for my demo videos on Wacky Clown, Buzzsaw, Grimm, sorry I forgot his name for a second, and Mr. Dark, and a special video that I'm going to be uploading on the 15th of October, which is my 16th birthday. I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of Mr. Dark below. I don't know how you couldn't love him. He's an awesome animatronic. He's definitely the biggest one in my collection so far. I really love him a lot. I think he's really cool and awesome. And if you can't get him this year, you know, I'm sorry. But if you can only get one animatronic for Spirit Halloween this year, definitely try to get this guy because he is really cool. And it's somewhat difficult to find a space for him to fit, but it's possible. He hits the ceiling a little bit out here, but we're going to try to fix that or do something to change that. And if we can't, then oh well, he'll just have to hit the ceiling. You know, there's nothing much you can do about it. He's very cool, and I forgot to mention that the fabric under his sleeve is like ripped up and tore up and has got the tears in it to make it look more creepy and decrepit, which I like a lot. I like the attention to detail that they took. He's very cool and very awesome. There's one last look at his box. Definitely worth the price. I definitely love him a lot. Awesome animatronic. I hope you enjoyed this extra long Smoldering review. Once again, stay tuned for those videos, and I don't know if I'll be getting any more animatronics this year. I plan to get Henry Hustle and Evelyn Leach, but I just cannot find them anywhere around me, so I don't know if I'm going to get them. I also plan to get Bloody Bag of Jokes, but he hasn't been released yet, and I don't know if he is going to be released, so just have to wait and see what happens. But until then, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoy the videos that are still to come. Go check out my Smoldering reviews on Wacky Clown, Buzzsaw, and Grimm, and just go check out all my Smoldering reviews in general, not in videos. Anyway, that's going to be about it. I know it's a long intro, but I just really love this animatronic, and I hope that you do too, and I hope that you love this video. That's it. Bye, guys.